This is the first video of a series of videos over Chang Taijiquan, over individual postures and movement. We have in Chang Tai Chi, most of the material are longer forms. We do have some shorter routine stuff, but we look at auxiliary training as more, we'll say more important. For example, like the long form it has 3 sets, so in reality, you can consider that 3 different forms. There's also the frame size itself. In Tai Chi, there's a small, medium, or large frame, and some groups say, well, that's a small frame and that's a large frame, and another group would say that's a medium-sized frame and a large frame, etc. So there's also different heights or bases. So in Master Chang's Tai Chi, there is a large frame. We'll say like this, right? A very large frame. And then we have a mid-sized frame like this, right? And we have 2 bases that we use. Usually when we're doing a large or say a big frame, we usually sink into our hips and we're down here, right? When we're doing the majority of the movements from the form. If we're doing a mid-frame, we're usually our base is higher and the width is narrower. That changes a few of the movements throughout the form. If you see any demonstrations of Master Chang from the 60s or from the 80s or what have you, you'll see him using varying heights and things like that. Another thing about Chang Tai Chi is the speed. Chang Tai Chi is probably more similar to other forms of classical Tai Chi, like Yang Ban Ho or something like that, where the speed is relatively faster compared to some of the more modern stuff of like Yang forms. Also, too, we can use fast, or we can go slow, or we can use a varied speed. And depending on how you're doing it that day, maybe you feel, I don't know, maybe you don't feel good, or maybe you do feel good, whatever. You may do it at varying speeds, and there's nothing wrong with that. What these videos are going to be over, again, different ways to see the posture, and also to Toi Fa, which is like leg skills. So if the posture, we'll say, for example, like, I'm not going to do that posture in this video, but say, repulse monkey, right? There's several ways that I can step through with the leg to execute the movement. And so when you're watching the video, take that, or these videos, take that in consideration. So there's probably going to be, I don't know, maybe 18 of these, or maybe a couple of dozen. And once I get through with the single postures, then I'll go through and I'll make a video that does maybe a set of 3 back and forth with each of the individual ones. And then there will be a series of maybe a half a dozen of this 18 or 24 that will combine 2 or 3 movements together that are common throughout, we'll say, Tai Chi routines. Like, say, double pull, single whip, and cloud hands. Or white crane spreads its wings, brush knee, and play the pipa. Okay, things like that. Tie things together. And so when I say like auxiliary stuff, we look at this training, right? So there's 2 aspects to Master Chang's stuff that I do. One is his Tai Chi, and the other is his Swa Jiao. And auxiliary training, where I pinpoint different things and I try to enhance those things that improves my skill across the board. They don't necessarily need, we'll say, a half a dozen forms that do exactly the same thing, right? So instead of us looking at it like that, we try to emphasize certain things, right? Like we have our 13 Tao, which helps us to improve our structural stability, our balance, our core strength, like that, right? Or like there's certain apparatus we use to help to strengthen our body. A lot of people that do Tai Chi are opposed to doing any type of strength training, but as we age, we lose bone density, we lose muscle mass, and through some resistance work, right, I'm able to help to maintain my muscle mass and my bone density. And you can do that with Tai Chi and using just some small apparatus that you can easily just have laying around the house. I'm not talking about having weight machines and things like that. But we want to maintain our grip. We want to be able to get up and off of the floor if we're doing it for that. If you're doing Chang Tai Chi and you're doing it and you want to do it for self-defense, I want to still be able to execute those movements to defend myself. So it's a balance on both sides, right? The great thing about Chang Tai Chi is you can do it at 20 or you could do it at 80. And you can do the forms at any of those ages, but there are different aspects of it that you could train to increase your overall body's, we'll say, performance, right? So anyway, that being said, like I said, I will do a couple of 3 of these a week for the next, I don't know, however long it takes, 6 weeks or something, right? So one of my favorite postures is brush knee twist step. And I'm going to do it a couple of different ways, and you will see some differences if you want to compare it, right, to Yang or to Chen or to Wu or Sun, or, you know, there's differences. And that's fine. That's what makes things entertaining in life, right? Differences, and then everything's just exactly the same. So I'm going to do a small or mid-frame and a high base first. So I'm going to start here, my weight's back, and then look, as I shift my weight forward. It's actually not really even shifting, it's driving. But so I load this leg, I step through, and then look, I'm going to, I've opened my hip and my knee and my ankle, and whenever I go to push force down to get reaction force, I'm going to drive me out, right? And if you notice, like other Tai Chi styles, this hand is this way. Okay? This hand is more like, you'll see this in more classical, we'll say Tai Chi, but it's somewhat turned, right? And the application, there's videos that I have over application that you can see why is he doing it this way. So look, I bend again, I turn the foot slightly out, and look, I drive me forward. Okay? So if I do it again, mid-frame, high base, and it doesn't matter if I'm doing a low base or a high base, I'm still going to engage the hip. It's super important. We don't shift back and forth when we're doing things like this. We actually open the hip and sink and drive forward. We're trying to do this action, not this. This works the knees, and sometimes it can exacerbate a knee issue. If you watch my knee when I do this action, my knee doesn't even really go forward, right? I don't need it to. I need to sink the weight into this leg and stabilize. If I'm looking at it from an application standpoint, and I do this, think about the force that I'm trying to generate through this hand for a push or for a squat, depending on how you look at it. If I'm pushing into this knee, I'm going to lose a percentage of the power that I could have put here. See what I'm saying? And we don't want to do that. So it's not that I'm blocking the knee or resisting it. I don't have to. I'm driving myself out. See? I'm driving myself out. Step through. Drive myself out. It's this constant shoving into the knee. If I'm doing this for application, I want as much force to come out of this hand as I can. If I'm doing it for my health, and you know, maybe you're 68 and maybe your knees aren't the best, right? Well, if I'm doing this over and over, right, or doing it like this, I'm going to potentially aggravate a chronic condition. I don't want to do that. So we want to keep our joints open, but we don't want to rely on forcing into the knee. Same thing with rounding the back. If you notice, I'm at an elongated gait like this. And my back is not rounded. A lot of times people will do this and they're like this, right? If you don't bend this knee to roll your hip under, you can't keep your torso straight and you'll round your lower back. And that's bad too. A lot of people have weak muscles in their lumbar, or maybe they tweak their lower back. And if I'm constantly doing this, I'm gonna agitate that. I don't want to do that. This is very natural. And at the same time, I'm relying on the core muscles, the obliques, the abdominals, the lumbar, even the deeper muscles, like the psoas that underlies inside around the spine. So let's see, I bend and I drive. Bend and I drive. Now the thing with this back leg, yes, I'm bending it, but I want to make sure that the knee is over the toe, right? I don't want to, some people will do this and then they'll do like this, and this is when they end up hurting the knee, right? Like that, or it's some kind of weird position. We want to make sure that things line up. If I use a low base, and if you're doing Tai Chi and you're 20 to whatever, even in your 60s, you should be able to do this. If it's too extreme, you've got injuries, you don't need to worry about it. Okay? It's even my Sigon, my teacher's teacher, he used varying widths and things like that at different times to do his Tai Chi, and I do the same thing. If I was going to do multiple sets of a form for my practice or for development, I'm probably going to use a narrower and a higher base for that practice. Now, if I really wanted to push myself hard, I may use the lower base. So like this, right? I'm down here, and I drive. That's it. I step through, and I drive. I'm really in my hips. All right, I do it this side, and I'm really in my hips, see? I dig deep. I really want to use the core and the legs to articulate the movement. I don't stand up in between the pieces. I just stay loaded in my legs. So again, brush knee, twist step. If I'm doing brush knee, twist step in our 25 routine, I'll do this hand in different ways, and I'll show that as well. So, but if you watch all of these videos, when it comes to a posture, again, where there's different ways to use the leg, and I'm going to share that. And if you're learning it or you're wanting to learn the Tai Chi, working these moving postures, or you can call it line drills, you associate the name with the movement, you get that in your head, you learn to combine movements together, and it's a great way to train it and to learn the pieces. So the other way we do it is either the hand is here, or here, or here. And again, if you go back to the application videos, or when soon I'll be releasing some of the forms that we do on video and for free on YouTube for people to see, and you start seeing the application and how it works. Master Chang's Tai Chi is, I think, a very simplistic approach, right? There's not we don't have to, we don't get too in depth into these other things that don't really matter in the beginning, right? Like we're more focused on the overall genuine health that we can create with our body, right? We want to make this thing as mobile, as pliable, have the strength to do our daily daily activities, functional fitness, right? And at the same time, I want to know the application of these movements and be able to apply them with somebody. If I'm in an age bracket young enough and I feel that it would benefit, right? And we work those movements to see how they work, and we put them together, and then we do them for the people who aren't compliant, you know. So it's a really good system, and I think very good benefit. So again, with this isn't necessarily a leg skill, but it is a leg skill as I'm attacking his legs, right? So that's what the difference in the hand movements. But so say I'm here, just like I did before, and then here, and here, right? So again, goes this way, scoops up this way, and scoops across this way. And again, medium frame, high base. You see, I still, even though I'm up here, I'm still engaging the hip. I want to open it. It's like I'm squatting as I drive out. Squat, and drive out. Squat, and drive out. And then again, with a large frame, low base. Same thing, right? I squat, I bring the leg through, and I drive out. I squat, I bring the leg through, and I drive out. So, hope you like the video. Sometimes I can be talk a lot, but each of these videos I want to discuss the movement. Again, if we can use variations on with the leg, the differences in the height and how it can look and how it can attach together, and addressing Tai Chi in this way, using these different, we'll say, auxiliary actions that are sets that we do in Chang Tai Chi, I think is a great way to train. Just like in the Squat Jiao that I do, Squat Jiao is the oldest form of Chinese martial arts. It is a throwing system, right? You throw people. And it's all of this different auxiliary training that we do to enhance the ability to do those movements. Well, Master Chang's Tai Chi is no different. These things will develop my ability to do these movements. The end result is one or two things, right? The end result is overall better health, if that's what I'm looking for, and my independence, my ability to go for a hike or go to the store, whatever it is I want to do, or on the other side of it, being able to use it to defend myself from the person that wants to attack me or to take from me or something like that. The end result shouldn't be that I'm trying to perfect the form. The form is it's your development, and it's like a manual. It has all of these different movements and information inside of it. But it's not about the form. It's about me, right? The form is the tool that I'm using to improve on me as a person. And if you look at Tai Chi like that, you'll relax. You'll quit worrying about, well, how they do it this way and they do it that way. It's not that, I'm not saying that where I'm saying that I don't care what it looks like. I want to put my effort into it, but it's the results from all of the other things should enhance the form anyway, right? If my health is better and I'm stronger and have better balance, my form will look better. If I understand the intention of the actual movements and how they work and how they're applied, my form will look better. So anyway, I hope you liked the video.